What's going on, everybody? Back again with another video. This is a quick recap of the ending of Game 7 between Adiz Gurel with the white pieces, young Turkish Grandmaster. I believe he's 15 now. Prodigy. Just became a Grandmaster in 2024. And with the black pieces, world champion Gukesh, who has lost 3 classical games in a row. And that, my friends, is why I have a photo of Garry Kasparov on the left-hand side of the screen, because he is the last reigning world champion to lose 3 classical games in a row. This took place in his 1986 match versus Anatoly Karpov, and there was a big scandal surrounding those 3 losses at the time. Kasparov had felt that there was a mole in his camp that was actually leaking preparation to Karpov's side, and this is what caused a big swing in the match at that stage in time. So this is something that we do not see or expect from our world champions, especially losing to what we would call just, regular grandmasters or just normal grandmasters, right? These aren't elite players in the top 10 in the world. Maybe if Gukesh lost to Fabiano, Carlsen, and say Nakamura 3 games in a row, it'd be unusual, but we would understand a little bit more. But he's losing to players that he should, at the very bare minimum, be able to hold a draw against, especially in classical time control. Again, we are not speaking about blitz and rapid games. Of course, anything can happen, and we often do see players that we have never heard of, or lower rated players, win against top players. So all you got to do is go to Title Tuesdays to see that on a regular basis. So here Gukesh has the black pieces. We're picking up after move 40. Oh yeah, please hit the thumbs up button, and please like and subscribe, and also check the box for donation links below if you care to support the channel. Thank you very much. So here, after white's move, rook takes f6, Gukesh has a decision to make as to how he should proceed in advancing his queenside pawn majority. At this point, it's going to be a race. We see white with 3 clear pass pawns on the king side, okay, and black has a 4-1 queenside pawn majority. So it's basically going to be a matter of who gets there first. The advantage that black has is that his pawn on the c file is a little bit more advanced. It's already crossed over the border, so to speak, and it is in the white territory. So 3 more squares, it can become a queen. All right, so this is basically the scene of the battle and what both sides will be trying to do from here out. So with Gukesh to move, Gukesh played this move, rook to d3. Gurel advanced his pawn, played h5, and there's tactics associated with this right here based on the activity of white. So if rook takes h5, white will play rook f7. And let's just throw a move in there just to illustrate. Say he plays the rook back to rook h8, and rook e7, dominating the 7th rank. And black will be in all kind of trouble. If he plays a better move, let's say king d8, which prevents the rook excuse me, from going to e8 immediately, then white can play a move like rook e6 here. All right. Again, let's just play another move just to illustrate what can happen here. And let's make another foolish move. And then the idea here, of course, is bishop f6 to drive the king away. And now the rook will invade, and white would be winning at that point. Of course, I made some foolish moves, but I just wanted you to be able to see white's main idea. And this is why Gukesh did not play rook takes h5. So white did not just hang a pawn. Instead, Gukesh played bishop d8, trying to get that rook out of the territory. White plays rook f5, c3. Who is going to queen first, or queen at all? h6, d4, rook to c1. Now the rook goes passive, so it's looking good for Gukesh, right? Rook d2. Very simple chess, right? The idea is just to advance the pawn some more, right? The rook on d2 allows the pawn to come to c2, and then the other pawn can go to d3. Gurel plays king f1. He wants to get the king over. Okay, so say if like c2, for example, he can attack the rook. So Gukesh plays bishop e7 here, offering some type of trade here. So like for instance, bishop takes and just rook takes. Notice that after this exchange, the king is blocked from being able to get across the e file. So Gurel rejects this right here, and then for some he plays g4 instead. He figures, hey, I'm gonna keep advancing. All right, keep your eyes on the prize. And then for some inexplicable reason, with 18 minutes on the clock, Gukesh plays bishop takes a3 and just basically blunders the piece. Bishop takes a3, rook takes h6. Perhaps he thought that was his best alternative, but he could have just played bishop takes f8 if he had to move the piece, right? He could have just moved it the other way, and we would have still had a game. But bishop takes a3 was played. Rook takes h6. g5. Sticking with the plan. Rook g6. King g2. And now rook g7 is played. Bishop d6. a5. And bishop f4. So you see the idea behind bishop d6 here. Right? Hits the rook. It basically slows black's plan down of advancing these pawns. Also, it protects the pawn on g5 again, so that the rook is now free. A little overprotection there, a la Nimzovich. So rook d3. And again, with a move like this, right, how is black going to advance his c and d pawns? So he's kind of stifled, and he's a piece down. So this is why, after a simple move like rook b1, Gukesh ignominiously resigned. Please like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the losing streak of the reigning world champion. This is something that we just do not see. Again, we do have standards. I don't know how the younger chess players feel in this generation, but I do know that the tradition is that the world championship title has the utmost respect, and there are expectations that we all have from our world champions, right? To be the best, even if they're not the most dominating. We like when they're dominant, but we want them to be worthy of their title. The world champion should not be able to be defeated by, um, anybody that comes along. And we know it happens from time to time, but that's the whole thing about it. That it's very rare. It shouldn't be that world champion should be defeated by an obscure 2600, and then the next round it'd be another obscure player, and then the next round is another player. It's not like he lost to Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano, and Hikaru in a row, or something like that, or even like Maxime Vachier-Lagrave or somebody like that. I mean, these are very obscure players. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any remedy for Gukesh, I'm sure he would like to hear it. And what do you think is the cause? Do you think he's just cracking under all of the pressure and scrutiny, or do you just think that he's basically getting exposed, that this is his level? Like he's really not a top 10. I'm not gonna say top 10, but he's really not really a world championship caliber player. That he got hot and he was able to win, the tournament, that candidates tournament, and and be able to win the championship match. That's what I think. I think he got hot at the right time and he was able to win. It reminds me of those knockout tournaments that they used to have back in late 90s. Guys get hot, they win a few matches in a row, and then you get Kazim Zanov as champion, or Khalifman or Ponomariov as world champion. But again, are people mentioning those names as the greats, or like, oh, they're great world champions? No, because the title is diminished. It is what it is. There's no disrespect. Like, it's still hard to win those tournaments, but that's what they were, as tournaments. Whereas when you compare the old style candidates tournaments, and we know that for monetary reasons that it's not feasible to set up these type of matches anymore, but when you look back and you see the candidates tournaments, and they had to play these matches to get to the title, right? It wasn't like they just could get on a hot streak and win a tournament. No, they had to prepare for one grandmaster. Okay. So Fischer, for instance, right? He has to play, Taimanov, right? Then he has to play Larson, right? Then he has to play Petrosian. Then he plays Spassky, and then he had to win tournaments before that to even qualify for the candidates. So you really had to show that you belong there, right? That eliminated this idea of you getting on a hot streak, or so because sometimes things can happen like that, right? It happens in tennis a lot. Go look at a lot of tennis players, like these one hit wonders, where these guys will come out of nowhere and then win, make it to like the semifinals of the Grand Slam tournaments, and then they just fall off out of the rankings. You get things like that. So I'm not saying that this is the case, but to me, and again, it's not his fault. Like, this is, like I said, I don't want this to get misinterpreted. It's not his fault. Like, listen, Magnus retired, and he decided, hey, I don't want, he wants to still play, have fun with the game, but not have this, the title and all of this stuff like that. But the player that assumes the crown, right? It's right, heavy, what's that old saying about the, heavy is the head that wears the crown? Like, listen. So he's gonna have the spotlight on. People want to know, what's going on. So that's my opinion. I just believe that he's just, that's his level. This is his level. Like, he's gonna lose to these guys. Sometimes he's gonna beat them. Most of the, it's like he's slightly above these guys. So most of the time, if he's in good form, he should win. But he's gonna lose more often than, say, like somebody like Magnus or Hikaru would to these same players. Right? Of course, Magnus is gonna draw with guys like this. Sometimes he even loses, right? But he's not gonna drop 3 in a row. I don't think Hikaru's gonna drop 3 in a row. Fabiano will drop 3 in a row like that. You know, they might have a bad tournament. They might lose and then draw 2 times, but not just, especially with these type of positions. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, subscribe. At the very least, just hit the thumbs up. Help the video progress through the algorithm, man. And I'll see you guys later in the next video.